Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness with David McDonald, the GOAT, episode 234 of 365. All right, let's get into our meditation routine here. So I will see you guys on the other side. All right, everybody, welcome back. Good morning, everybody. Kenny Keys, good morning. Auntie Louisa, good morning. All right, so we're gonna jump into our reading routine here. We just finished our meditation routine, so I will see you guys on the other side. Currently, the book reading is Eckhart Tolle, and it's pretty awesome. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Morning, Jason. How's it going, bud? So we just finished our reading routine, and now we're going to get into our journaling routine. All right, so in our journaling routine, I usually like to write about what I'm most grateful for. And in the morning, that is waking up and being in perfect health. Then I go back to yesterday's activities or yesterday's events, and I write my appreciations about those and my experiences I may have had, realizations I may have come to, and I write, pretty much my gratitude for those, just showing respect to the day yesterday. And then moving forward, anything I wish to manifest, I write those down. Any realizations I may come to, or I would like to come to, I write those down in my journal, and a number of other things like goals, ambitions, things of that nature. So if you guys have questions about that, let me know, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right. Welcome back. So, we're pretty good morning, Amy. How's it going? So we're pretty much finishing the chapter on pain bodies. So the pain that you feel from an emotional experience or emotional situation or judgment passed upon you in earlier years of your life that still continue to arise for you today. And we're in this portion of the chapter, we're on the section that's called triggers. Triggers. So some pain bodies react to only one particular kind of trigger or situation, which is usually one that resonates with a certain kind of emotional pain suffered in the past. For example, if a child grows up with parents for whom financial issues are the source of frequent drama and conflict, he or she may absorb the parent's fear around money and develop a pain body that is triggered whenever financial issues are involved, right? So, pretty much what we're doing now is we're segueing and saying, okay, whatever a situation is from a general standpoint, whatever the situation is, the pain body is triggered by a situation or an experience that you go through or a thought. Disregard it. Now I'm getting ready to tell you how we're supposed to break free from it. When you recognize your own pain body as it arises, you will also quickly learn what the most common triggers are that activate it, whether it be situations or certain things other people do or say. When those triggers occur, you will immediately see them for what they are and enter a heightened state of alertness. Within, that's creepy. A heightened state of alertness. Um, Within a second or two, you will also notice the emotional reaction that is, excuse me, you will also notice the emotional reaction that is arising pain body. But in that state of alert presence, you won't identify with it, which means the pain body cannot take you over and become the voice in your head. If you are with your partner at the time, you may tell him or her what you just said or triggered my pain body. Have an agreement with your partner that whenever either of you says or does something that triggers the other person's pain body, you will immediately mention it. In this way, the pain body can no longer renew itself through drama in the relationship, and instead of pulling you into unconsciousness, will help you become fully present. Every time you are present when the pain body arises, some of the pain body, to review. So on that part, um, so what it is, what the book is explaining right now is that in any given moment when that pain body arises within you, you go into an extreme sense of alertness, which is interesting because living a more present life and living our lives, going through being mindful of what we say, what we do, how we respond, the way we act, right? It's the same thing as what we do. Um, I almost feel like we're always at a peak state. We're always at a state of, like we're focused, we're dialed at all times, whether it's focusing on our business, focusing on being a better person, or all of the above. So, recognizing your pain body is the first thing. And when you recognize it, it will come up as a trigger, brings it up for you, and you will immediately see it for what it is at your heightened state of alertness. But in that state of alert presence, you won't identify with it. So you'll know it's there, but you won't necessarily identify with it. You actually might combat it. And when you combat it, you suffer. So the other suggestion is if you're with a partner, then just let them know, hey, you just triggered a pain body. That's just fluid communication. Every time you are present when the pain body arises, some of the pain body's negative emotional energy will burn up as it were, um, and become transmuted into presence. The rest of the pain body will quickly withdraw and wait for a better opportunity to arise again. That is to say, when you are less conscious. So check this out. This is really interesting. A better opportunity for the pain body to arise may come whenever you lose presence, perhaps after you have had a few drinks or while watching a violent film. The tiniest negative emotion, such as being such as being irritated or anxious, can also serve as a doorway through which the pain body can return. The pain body needs your unconsciousness. It cannot tolerate the light of presence. Can also come when you're really tired, right? So at the end of the day, when you're in a state of, okay, I'm ready to rest, I've been working all day long, then the pain body can arise. So we perceiving the body as an awakener, the pain body as an awakener. The pain body, of course, is part of that false self within you. Whenever you get taken over by the pain body, whenever you don't recognize it for what it is, it becomes part of your ego. And remember, ego and pain body are cousins. Whatever you identify with turns into ego. The pain body is one of the most powerful things the ego can identify with, just as the pain body needs the ego to renew itself through it. So the more negative, the more terrible that you feel inside, the more it's going to continue to perpetuate, for the simple fact that both of them are the ego is clinging onto something, right? Whether good or bad, doesn't matter. And then creating that or trying to establish that as your identity. But through awareness and through enlightenment, you overcome that. And then the pain body is searching for more of that type of pain. So it's also looking for more of that to come up, and that's why they do so well together. Let me see here. People with strong pain bodies often reach a point where they feel their life is becoming unbearable, where they can't take the pain anymore, any more drama. One person expressed this by saying plainly and simply that she was fed up with being unhappy. Some people may feel, as I did, that they cannot live with themselves anymore. Inner peace then comes their first priority. Their acute emotional pain forces their acute emotional pain forces them to disidentify from the content of their minds and mental emotional structures that give birth to and perpetuate the unhappy me. They then know that neither their unhappy story nor the emotion they feel is who they are. So they realize they are the knowing, not the known. Rather than pulling them into unconsciousness, the pain body becomes an awakener, the decisive factor that forces them into a state of presence. So the which is very interesting. So these pain bodies come up for us, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, we can't get away from them. Right? They're in our minds. Oh my gosh, they're in our bodies, they're in our emotions. We feel them. But the thing is that one who is on a path to being totally present and awake, we want to get out of that space. So what on a constant basis, on a daily basis, we're searching on ways to transcend outside of that space so that we disconnect or disidentify with that pain body that arises in us. And we don't find attachment through our ego, um, which is awesome. So that's why it becomes an awakener. The pain body becomes an awakener because what we're doing is we're identifying what these pain bodies are within ourselves. We're disconnecting from the pain body, and then we're transcending into a different space, which is awesome. Whenever they notice they have slipped back into a dysfunctional state, they are able to choose to step out of identification with thinking and emotion and enter into a state of presence. They relinquish resistance, become still and alert. One with that is within and without. So that dysfunctional state that continues to arise for us, we find peace in just being in the now, in the present, right? There's nothing before us, there's nothing in front of us. It's just right now. And when we become aligned with that, that brings us peace um, and identification with who we are, um, and then continue to transcend. So, good morning, Eric. How's it going, brother? Happy Wednesday. So, breaking free of the pain body is the last section before we get into finding who we truly are, which is the next chapter. How long does it take to become free of the pain body? The answer is, of course, that it depends both on the density, so the depthness of the pain body, um, of an individual's pain body, as well as the degree or intensity of that individual's arising presence. So the more anxious, the more determined you are to become more present with who you are, that's going to dictate how fast you overcome your pain body and move to the next level. But it is not the pain body. But it is not the pain body, but identification with it that causes the suffering that you inflict on yourself and others. It's not the pain body, but identification with the pain body that forces you to relive the past again and again and keeps you in a state of unconsciousness. So a more important question to ask would be this: how long does it take to become free of identification with the pain body? And the answer to that question is it takes no time at all. When the pain body is activated, know that what you are feeling is the pain body in you. This knowing is all that is needed to break your identification with it. So, in attempt not to overcomplicate what it means to be in unison with yourself, it's not necessarily how long does it become, or how long does it take for you to break from the pain body. It's not a matter of the pain body breaking from the pain body, right? It's more of it's the identification with the pain body. So the moment that you become alert and you flash that light on that pain body, then it starts to disintegrate. So let me see here. This knowing is all that you need to break your identification with it. And when identification with it ceases, the transmutation begins. So you start to transcend to the next level. The knowing prevents the old emotion from arising up into your head and taking over not only the internal dialogue, but also your actions, as well as interactions with other people. This means the pain body cannot use you anymore and renew itself through you. The old emotion may then still live in you for a while and come up periodically. It may also still occasionally trick you into identifying with it again and thus obscure the knowing, but not for long. Not projecting the old emotion into situations means facing it directly within yourself. It may not be pleasant, but it won't kill you. Your presence is more than capable of containing it. The emotion is not who you are, which is huge, you guys. And what it's saying here is that you may have a feeling come up, or you may have something that's triggered by an experience that comes up and reminds you and takes you back to your past. Identifying it and seeing it and facing it directly for what it is right now in this moment. Accepting the feeling, right? But not identifying it as who you are. There's plenty of space for your presence, which is what we will come into more and more and more as we go further into the journey to greatness. There's more than enough presence, just like there's more than enough time. There's more than enough opportunities, billions into an infinite amount of opportunities, things that we can't even think of that can manifest into reality and just blow our socks away. Our presence is completely in infinite space. So we can come into our present, our oneness, with that identification of just running toward whatever our pain body is coming up for, whatever pain body is coming up within us. There's enough space in your presence to identify it, recognize it for what it is, and then you still be you and know that it's okay. And that's really reassuring. So when you feel the pain body, don't fall into the error of thinking there is something wrong with you, making yourself into a problem. The ego loves that. The knowing needs to be followed by accepting. Anything else will obscure it again. Accepting means you allow yourself to feel whatever it is you are feeling at that very moment. It is part of the isness of the now. You can't argue with what is. Well, you can, but if you do, you suffer. Through allowing, you become what you are, vast and spacious. You become whole. You are not a fragment anymore, which is how the ego perceives itself. Your true nature emerges, which is one with nature of God. Jesus points to this when he says, but ye whole, even as your Father is in heaven, even as your Father in heaven is whole. The New Testament, be ye perfect, is a mistranslation of the original Greek word, which means whole. This is to say, you don't need to become whole, but be what you already are, with or without the pain body. So, just to reiterate here, accepting means to just feel the emotion that comes, but be who you know you are. And when you continue to be who you know that you are, you will transcend entirely past the space that may or not bring you to a negative place. I think that's very refreshing. So feel free to repeat after me as we conclude our session today. This is my life. I am aware. I take full responsibility for my reality and thoughts. I recognize I have the power to manifest the best possible life. A life of wealth, love, and peace. I truly believe I have zero limitations. I trust my instincts, God, and universe. I am ready to transcend. I have arrived. And so it is. All right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Have the best day of your life today. To everybody who jumped on the messenger board, good morning. Thank you for jumping on. For everybody who is at home watching, thank you for sending energy and love and light through the camera. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 a.m. See ya.